Yo guys, JC here. I'm back with another scam report. Now, today I'm going to talk about a Japanese scammer. But just a quick word of caution before I jump into it. I just want to remind everybody that scams are actually everywhere in the world these days. Especially with the internet, it's so easy for scammers to basically scam anyone all over the world. So be very careful. There's a lot of fake job scams. There are, of course, dating scams, investment scams, refund scams, some kind of antivirus scams. There's a million of them, and the scammers are sometimes getting better. Usually, yeah, you can say it's pretty dumb and it's a dumb script, and usually it is, but sometimes it's pretty clever what they try to do, and you have to be on your toes all the time. Definitely, if you get some kind of weird random messages on your phone, yeah, I mean that's most likely a scam. But anyway, let's talk about this one today. And this is about a kind of girl in Japan, and she's been a very bad girl. She's been a naughty girl. So let's have a look at it. All right, so I'm gonna talk about Mai Watanabe. This is her. This is a very bizarre story because actually I saw a YouTube clip with her in it, and she was basically asked by the interviewer, like, "Okay, you steal money, and do you think that's okay?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm not doing anything wrong." And he's like, "Yeah, you are. You're stealing money from people. You're gonna go to jail." And she was like really surprised about that and shocked. And I don't know. You can find this clip on the internet. Just Google. I mean, search for her name. 25-year-old Japanese woman arrested for selling fraudulent sugar daddy scam guides. So this is her photo, and I just want to quickly comment on the photo. I know this is a bit maybe controversial to comment on people's appearances, but this type of face, okay, like the type of face that she has, like in Japan, this is usually kind of a dumb girl face. Now I know that in England, in America, we have a stereotype: blondes, right? People who are blondes are dumb, and well, that's very questionable. But in Japan's case, it's usually kind of more facial features or the shape of the face. Let's say this is definitely the face of a stupid girl. Okay, like 100%. Okay, so what's her story? Well, she's 25 years old, and she was selling a series of manuals titled Daddy Scam Money Making Strategies on various online platforms. She operated she operated under the online persona called Ita. I'm totally gonna butcher that. Itadaki Joshi Riri Chan. Targeted vulnerable middle aged men, exploiting their emotions to extract large sums of money from them. The controversial guidebooks provide detailed instructions on how to approach and manipulate these individuals effectively. One of the tactics involved fabricating stories of a troubled childhood to elicit sympathy and financial support. Other methods included feigning illness and financial distress, convincing the victims of her urgent need for financial assistance. I'll give you one example. The one thing she said in the video anyway was that she was gonna get captured by some yakuza because she has some kind of debt or something to pay. She can't pay it, so basically, if she gets captured, they're gonna force her to do adult videos, and to prevent that, she needs money to pay them off or whatever, so that she doesn't have to appear in those fine adult content videos. Well, the whole thing is bullshit. Nobody ever told her to appear in such videos. She just invented these stories to make money, to steal money, I should say, because it's not make money, it's to steal money. There's a screenshot. I think this is from her guidebook. Like, it's in Japanese, so I don't really understand what it says, but it is basically like an instruction manual how you can steal money, scam money out of men. The police department revealed that she started scamming last year. I believe that means 2022. And the range, so she basically sold these guides between $67 to $134 with additional charges for private lessons. Reports from Japanese indicate that 2,000 copies of her guides were sold before her arrest. I actually read it was 3,000, but that's not really super relevant, I guess. The investigation started uh, following the arrest of a 20-year-old woman who allegedly defrauded two men in Aichi Prefecture, extracting a total of 10 million yen, $72,000, using using tactics in that woman's guidebook. Admitting her involvement, Watanabe acknowledged that she was fully aware of her customers' intentions to engage in fraudulent activities. Mai Watanabe's experience involves swindling a 50-year-old man out of 27 million yen. That's $182,000. Well, I mean, that was probably before the huge inflation because now we're really in the ass here. I think it's worth. I think the amount in yen would be much much higher, basically, because of the inflation. By falsely claiming that she borrowed money from an acquaintance to establish her own clothing store and that she would be forced to work in a brothel to repay the debt. Well, that's kind of what I just said a while ago. Just recently, the newspaper published allegations against her, this time from a 54-year-old man who claimed to have transferred approximately 117 million yen, that's $780,000, to Riri the Sugar Baby, Watanabe's online persona. Watanabe's fraudulent activities have raised concern about the ease with which vulnerable individuals can be manipulated. Her guidebooks outline five types of people. Now that guys is very very interesting. Pay attention to this part. Her guidebooks outlined five types of people who are most susceptible to such scams, including those who feel lonely, lack specific hobbies or a sense of purpose, have never been relied upon by others, have limited experiences in relationship or love, and struggle with debt and financial management. On the other hand, individuals primarily interested in physical intimacy, those who promise financial support but fail to deliver, financially stable individuals, and narcissistic individuals are less likely to fall victims for these scams, making them unsuitable targets according to her guide. Okay, so this part is actually very, very important, guys. Remember this part. So, definitely targeting people who are men who are lonely, those who lack hobbies and a sense of purpose. Now, this is very, very common these days. There's a lot of people out there in general, not just men, women as well. And it seems to me that they have absolutely no purpose in life, like really nothing. Like they just live this kind of empty existence. They wake up, they go to work, they come back from work, they sleep. Next day, they wake up, they go to work, they come back, they sleep. And it's just like that forever. There's really nothing exciting going on in their lives, and it's just completely empty. And these type of people are great targets for scammers. So be very careful. They have no experience in relationship or love. So this one, I can see that one. Like these are people who are, maybe they never had a girlfriend, and they get messages suddenly from a stranger online, and they're like, "Oh, you're like so wonderful, and I love your appearance. You're so handsome. You have like nice hair, etc., etc." So they never heard that in their life, and so hearing these type of compliments for a man, it can make a big impression. It can make a huge impression, and it can make them believe that, oh wow, I met a girl and she thinks I'm amazing, so that's worth checking out. But what is not good though is people who want physical intimacy. Well, this type of scammers, trust me, they don't want to meet you in person. They want to keep it online, like as much as possible, because if you meet in person, it's going to destroy a lot of myths about them, and the people will most likely get very suspicious about what's going on here. So yeah, they don't want to meet you physically. They want to keep that online because it's easy. You don't have to see them. They can just chat whatever, I need money. I'm getting evicted. I need money for a phone. My phone is breaking down. If I don't have a new phone, I can't message you. So give me money. It's things like that. Okay. All right. And so what? Let's see. There's one more article about her. So again, there's a picture of her. There we go. So it says here. Gonna jump just a little bit down. So here we go. Promoting herself as Riri-chan or Sugar Baby Riri, Watanabe made a series of YouTube videos talking about her life. She also maintained a Twitter account, which is still active. Now, I'm not sure if that part is true because this article is from November of last year, so things might have changed. I mean, look, if she got arrested, I'm not sure she can tweet about it. So, yeah, in Japanese, sugar babying is more commonly referred to as papakatsu. Okay, that's not so interesting. So here's another photo of her. Sporting a blondish hair and a buriko attitude, not sure what that means, Watanabe apparently charmed her way to a decent social media following. She also boasted about how much she'd managed to earn. In a tweet responding to someone who wanted Watanabe to fulfill her dream of having kids, she replied, "I'm so glad. I'm 25 and I have made hundreds of millions." Well, she's talking about yen, but it's still a large amount. It's a couple of million dollars. Millions of from sex work, which apparently she did. She did work at a kind of nightclub, hostess or something. Uh, Maybe the naked kind, and fraud, but gave it all to hosts. And I don't have. She doesn't have any yen left. Okay. It's probably not a good idea to admit to fraud in public. Indeed, Watanabe seemingly had a bad habit of writing down her criming. The 25-year-old also reportedly produced a manual educating other women on the best way to extract money from men by hook or by crook. So that's the previous article we saw. That's the manuals that she was selling. It was this manual, the manual that makes you all money by sugar baby Riri-chan, who receives 10 million yen a month, that landed Watanabe in a Nagoya courtroom this week. Watanabe herself is accused by authorities of taking, okay, 38 million yen to 200, it's a quarter of $1 million basically, from a man in Ibaraki Prefecture in his 50s. The current case, however, is a charge of aiding and abetting fraud in relation to a 21-year-old Nagoya woman who bought Watanabe's Fraud 101 book. Now, guys, this part is really interesting, isn't it? She got arrested because she was selling the manuals. She was not arrested because she stole millions of dollars from people. Funny how Japanese police works, isn't it? In court this week, Watanabe had a much different appearance, sporting black hair and glasses. She reportedly responded drolly, answering questions like, "Where do you work?" with answers like, "Not working." Well, that's right. Scamming is not a work. I know that a lot of scammers say, "Well, this is my job and I have to do that because I have to feed my family." Yeah, but you're a thief. You're absolutely a thief, and I have no sympathy for you whatsoever. So let's talk about the manual now. What is it about? Well, How to Lie to Men, the book. Giving money to people isn't illegal unless it's in exchange for penetrative intercourse, which would be against Japan's prostitution laws. So, what did Watanabe do that crossed the line from sugar baby to swindler? Yamano Yusuke, who wrote about this case for Bunshun Online and also on his personal note site, says that he obtained a version of the manual. He says there are multiple revisions floating around, and he can't say whether this is the one that got her arrested. In Yamano's version, Watanabe goes into great detail about how to befriend men who it's easy to take money from. This includes sad, lonely looking men, men who have no hobbies and no apparent reason to live, and men with no experience in love. She urges readers to develop a relationship and then make up an emergency. For example, being late on one's rent, to get these men to give her money. Yamano says the manual goes into detail about exactly how to communicate with men online. This is an app, by the way, if you don't know. It's a good app, but it's also used by scammers, such as creating a daily line of communication and then ceasing it before the emergency to make it more believable that something's gone wrong. In other words, Watanabe was clearly teaching women, how to lie, and using those tips in her own work. Millions of dollars given away. So this is like a bizarre kind of twist to it. So I thought, like, she would steal the money and I don't know, she would like live somewhere nice and enjoy life, but that is actually not the case. She's dumber than that. So all told, Watanabe said she made about 20 million yen. That's $133,000 from the manual itself. That's just from the manual, guys. That's just from the manual. So this does not include the total amount. Okay, over 300 million yen in total. So that's the total. $2 million in total. $2 million. Think about that. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. However, when police arrested Mai, she was living in a capsule hotel. All she had on her was a broken smartphone, several thousand yen, which is, less than $100, and a business card for a host. The business card explains where all the money went. Watanabe acknowledged in court that she gave all her money to Tanaka Hiroshi. Tanaka, 26, works in a host club in Kabukicho, where he goes by the name of Kamiya Ayumu. Host clubs in Japan are bars where sexy male hosts talk and drink with female customers. Patrons pay an hourly fee, buy drinks, and can even buy drinks for the hosts, up to and including expensive champagne. Some women get so caught up in the host life that they spend inordinate amount of money to become a given host's top customer. In extreme but sadly common cases, women resort to prostitution or papakatsu. I think I'm not sure. I think that means like the sugar baby thing to supply hosts with steady stream of money. That's what happened with Watanabe, who, according to Tanaka, supported him for all solid 3 months. How do we know this? Because Tanaka has his own YouTube channel, which is still active. Well, again, I'm not sure if that's true because this article is from November. In one video, he even showed a picture of some of the cash that Watanabe gave him. And actually, this is the actual picture. Yes. Ironically, the title of that video is The Four Characteristics of Women at Host Clubs You Should Be Wary of. The lack of self awareness is strong with this one. The host club's turn in court. You might ask yourself why they don't arrest the damn host of this club. Actually, that's a very good question. Well, you're in luck. Police arrested Tanaka and the club manager, Hashimoto Kazuki, 34, last month. It turns out that both Tanaka and Hashimoto knew full well where and how Watanabe got all her money. That makes them both complicit in her crimes. Host clubs are a booming business, with some shops bringing in 100 million yen, that's about $670,000, in a single month. But the lust for profits causes some to step over the line. We've written about multiple host clubs in Kabukicho that have served minors or used coercion to extort money from customers. Tanaka affects a cool, nonchalant appearance in his videos, but in this case, it's clear his emotions, specifically his greed, got the better of him. Yeah, yeah, guys, I actually heard about that. Some of the nightclubs here, you have to be very, very careful. It's these kind of nightclubs where it's all you can drink, but it ends up being very, very expensive. And like if you can't pay, apparently they can get violent on you because a lot of these places are still operated by kind of yakuza. You see, like the yakuza are very clever these days. This is not the yakuza from the past, okay? Like the yakuza in the past were walking around and beating the crap out of people, stuff like that. But these days, basically, they're all businessmen. They completely control the porn industry here, and kind of like the host club business, it's also them most of the time. Look, if they're not directly yakuza, they definitely know somebody in the yakuza because like this kind of big money, it all connects eventually to the Yakuza one way or another. So you have to be very careful here where you go. But in her case, though, she's just a typical dumbass, and you can tell her you can tell that just from looking at her face. That's what I said. She looks like a dumb girl, and she is. She absolutely is. Um, so yeah, this is a wild story. I don't know what happened to her because I was not really able to find any information after these articles. But if she got arrested, like if she's in jail right now, that would be the correct conclusion to the story. But unfortunately, I just don't have the information. So if you guys have more information on that, please post it in the comments. I'll be very glad to read about it. And if there's enough material there, I might do an update video. But anyway, that's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. Please watch out for scams, guys. Scams are fucking everywhere these days, really everywhere. Uh, Definitely online, it's so easy with dating scams, etc. Uh, People can make fake profiles. It doesn't even mean it's a woman. You might be talking to a guy. You know what I mean? Like they use fake pictures, but it's actually a guy talking to you, and they're very good at that. They're very good at that, granted, but you're still talking to a scammer, and all they want is your money. So if you want to scam bait them, that's go for it. You know, it's fun to do, but just definitely don't ever send anybody money. Okay, please remember that. All right, GC signing off. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.